No, we saw you pull in and we just came out of non-public. Have yourself a seat anywhere you'd like. Okay, so we're in public session now. I'd like to make a motion to seal the minutes from our non-public session we just got out of. Okay, all in favor? Okay, so we're back in public session here and need to look at the public meeting minutes from last month. And I believe we were all present. So.
Motion to approve meeting minutes dated February 6, 2024.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, and then we get to do the non-public minutes as well, the same day. We got a copy of that earlier.
Yep. Motion to approve the non-public meeting dated February 6, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so I'll have both sets of minutes for you, love. Okay, that takes care of that. Chief, that brings us to you. How are you?
Pretty good.
All right.
Not too much stuff going on, but enough to give you guys some heads up on some stuff.
Yep.
K9 and Trevor are going to drug school in April, so he'll be gone for 8 weeks for drug certification. He's been, doing the patrol
Full time for 8 weeks.
for 8 weeks. He's been doing the patrol stuff, doing a great job. He had a good, nice find dog at Tower Hill the other day.
Yeah.
He's been doing a good job. So
Good.
the dog's good. He's good. Not as bitey as Athos, which is always a plus.
Yeah.
And he's doing a good job. Awards night is March 21st at 6 p.m. You guys should be getting invitations. We'll send out to the town as well.
Okay.
And that's in joint one with the fire department, like we do with the fire day every year. And that should be pretty good. That's that. We have working with the town to have an idea of maybe having a town-wide yard sale on May 11th from 8 to 2. And I think Melissa and a couple of the guys might be interested in having a safety center participate. Like people want to bring stuff, their yard sale stuff here. Or if someone had a town, somewhere in town, thought they would rather come here than do it at their home or something.
Mm-hmm.
So she's working with Amy to try to work out the logistics of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The 27th of April is the next drug take back thing. We're doing a bunch of paperwork, or not we, Lil, there's a lot of paperwork for that. I can't remember what the times for that thing, Your Honor.
Usually 10 to 2. But it is,
We'll post
that's what it's been in the past.
It's either 9 to 2 or 10 to 2. We'll post it when we get the time from the DEA. Let's see, we got on the 28th of March, we have less than lethal and taser training coming up. It's our yearly thing. We're gonna shoot the tasers around and the beanbag shotguns. That's pretty good. The last thing was Felonies First is back. That's a program through the county. When you charge someone with a felony, for a while they got rid of probable cause hearings.
Yes.
So that kind of lightened the load a little bit for us with court stuff. We didn't have to submit all the complaints and everything to the district court. We just sent it by computer directly to Superior Court, and we didn't have to deal with the arraignments for felonies. Well, that's back. They got rid of that. Whether it was too much for them to do, I think is the understanding of what happened. It was too much for a county to do that. So they pushed it back on the towns. So that has increased our activity at court. So we've got a lot more paperwork that we have to do.
Now, who does that, Lonnie or Chip?
Lonnie and Lil, mostly.
Okay.
Melissa does some. But it does require some probable cause hearings, which sometimes we need more officers to go to court where that court hearing is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's back. So if somebody wants a hearing, then the officer would have to actually go. But we were able to get around that for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's back. So you might see some increased costs in the witness fee line. And again, it's a lot more time on our part. But
Mm-hmm. How about the prosecutor?
so far, so good. We've had a few that we've had to do. They get most of them waived, I think, right? We had a couple problem cause hearings. I thought at least 2. But sometimes people waive them. They don't have to have the hearing. Especially to have an attorney, a lot of times they'll waive the hearing if we give them discovery earlier, then they don't have to go to get discovery through county.
But that involves him.
It does. So it's extra work. But this is to kind of give you guys a heads up.
Yeah, but how many felonies do we get?
A year?
Yeah.
Like that, maybe a few more,
A
25.
couple a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it for me.
Okay, any questions for the chief before we let him go? Okay, you'll let go.
Thanks.
Okay, Chip, up to you.
This month we had 230 car stops. Same recipe is normal, bunch of speeds, hands-free law. We had 15 arrests, everything ranging from animal control violation to operating after suspension, violation of a restraining order. We seem to be having a lot more domestics. It only reflects one on the other sheet, but I don't know if we're just going to the same people all the time or what, but it just seems like the guys are busier with those. 14 investigative reports generated, not a huge number, but and 975 calls for service for February, which is pretty good, closing in on 1,000, so that's pretty good. And other than that, that's it.
Any questions for the lieutenant? Okay. Chris, that's gonna bring you up to the plate. How you doing today?
That was fast. You go quick. All right. I won't screw around.
Now on chit chat.
Yeah. You got the floor, buddy.
Thank you. Thanks for making time for me.
Yeah, no problem.
So I think you've seen some collection of stuff from Lil. We are working on what turned into kind of an overhaul of the personnel policy.
Okay.
Personnel policy, I can see, and I've heard the legends, and I can read into it, and you can see how it kind of came to being in a few different big chunks with the library kind of bringing its HR stuff underneath the town hall umbrella that happened at some point in the past, and navigating the 3 boards that become the joint personnel committee. You can see a bunch of things kind of getting mashed together, and this thing has evolved, and as you can see, it's been amended many times.
Mm-hmm.
And many times just by being added to. Like, we need to add something, so we just add it, and it's turned into a bit of an unruly thing.
Yeah.
We were really prompted by changes in the fire department with their new staffing and schedule model. They just don't, a lot of their stuff changed, and everything didn't really fit. A lot of your stuff is covered under the union contract, so here it won't really apply. Fire department fully falls under this, so we really had to dig into it with their changes. And once I start editing, away we go. So we've got a whole bunch of things that are changing that really don't mean very much, and a few things that I wanted to make sure we talked about and give everybody a chance to talk about that are more like policy changes before we bring them forward to a full joint personnel board. As we talked about in the summer or fall when we met, we're going to get together again, tackle your grade change question with kind of an extra meeting. So I wanted to just make sure we had a chance to talk about the things that really look like policy changes before we got into that. Chief has seen the line-by-line changes and shared them with some folks here. We got some feedback from that yesterday. We're doing the same thing with all the other department heads. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about in here, but there are a few things I wanted to pull out and highlight and give you a crack at.
Go ahead.
So we can talk about it. A lot of the changes are really just cosmetic or organizational or slimming down and bringing
Verbiage.
Yeah, verbiage, and this document was trying to be kind of a policy manual and an employee handbook and a procedural manual all in one, and that doesn't work.
Small town, that's all we could afford, probably.
Understand. But I'm trying to slim it down to
Yeah.
policy. These are our policies, and I come from, my training is make your policies as clear for the employees as you can, but make sure you don't do anything that you're going to not do. Don't put anything in the policy that you don't actually do or you don't want to do, because that's what gets you in trouble as an employer. If you don't follow your own policies, that's the first place you're going to get in trouble. So those are the big motivations. Within that, so that flushed out a whole bunch of different things, but let me just highlight a few things that feel like policy changes. They are. And do you have anything on paper? Did you?
I didn't print what we got.
Okay.
There was quite a bit of pages.
It's really unpleasant reading. That's okay. I think I can explain it.
What page?
Tell you what we're talking about.
Oh, do you have it right here?
You got something?
Oh, he's got it right here, so we can follow you.
And let's go by section because the page numbers are completely massacred. In section 2, there's a section about responding to complaints about employees. Complaints from by one employee about another employee. What the policy says now is that when somebody files a complaint, when an employee files a written complaint, one of the first things that happens is that complaint is then handed to the subject of that complaint. Bad form, really is not gonna help solve the problem. So it's just, maybe that's just the way it's written, but,
Section
What
2 where?
section is that?
it's under, I think it's under staff supervision, is that 2?
Oh, yeah, staff supervision, we just saw that a minute ago. Just there.
Page 21.
Further up.
Yeah, your page numbers will differ based on what.
Staff supervision, got it.
So we're gonna take away that requirement that the subject of the complaint immediately finds out who complained about them. That's just not good form. You wanna get a supervisor involved in,
Confidential.
yeah, so, you know, so if you have a complaint about a coworker, the coworker shouldn't be,
Shouldn't be there while you're voicing your complaint and make it known all before it even goes to supervisor.
there'll be a time for that later in the process, but the first thing is that's not a good way to handle the first step. So that's it for that. Section 4.1.1 deals with step increases. You may recall that in 2022, the Joint Personnel Committee changed what happens to year 20 employees that didn't get a step increase anymore. The step chart ends at year 20. And the Joint Personnel Committee said, let's keep giving them a merit recognition bonus in the years after.
Every year after, it'd be at
Every year
2%.
after 20. So we're just codifying that here and putting that into the personnel manual. The manual never got changed. The Joint
So that's all it's saying.
Yeah.
It's gonna be 2% once you hit the 20,
Yep.
step 20 and the maximum in the pay scale.
Yep, receive a merit recognition equal to 2% of annual pay in lieu of a step increase.
Yes. I didn't make them a colored copy, but is the red, what's the red, the purple?
Those are different edits, usually from me or perhaps from Abby Tucker, our labor attorney. We both went through this line by line, so that's probably what you're looking at there. Different versions, different edits that it went through. That red line document. Does that turn into a question or?
Well, kind of, because you had that step increases will be implemented in the pay cycle following. That's a change, I was just wondering what.
Oh,
because that's the red change, I don't see the other changes we talked about, just, because we have in section 4 with compensation, or step increases, or did I miss it?
That's right.
Let me see what I can find here. I've got. In 4.11, third paragraph for employees who have reached the maximum step 20 for their position. Let me make sure I'm looking at the right document too. I got something here.
So I was looking at one, it's it's on page 25, which I'm not sure yours are the same, but it's 4.11 step increases. And then it's B, it says on an annual basis, step increases will be implemented in the pay cycle following the individual anniversaries, and I was just wondering what prompted that.
Why the change? Okay, so instead of on the exact date.
Yep.
So what the current policy says that a step increase, any pay rate change would take effect on an anniversary date. So, you get your step increase when your anniversary date comes along. All I did was push that to the start of the next pay cycle.
It's a payroll nightmare if you had a mid-cycle. That's completely legitimate.
We
it's,
Payroll.
you end up with two different pay rates in
Yeah.
the same.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
same
not-
pay
Payroll
cycle.
before?
Uh,
You know what I mean?
I got a
It's like-
question.
I see what you're saying
Because
now.
what if my pay, I'm just saying, what if it hits the Monday of the first pay period, now I gotta wait another 2 weeks, you know, like,
On page 25, there's,
I see what you're saying, I definitely see what you're saying. Yeah, well, I mean, could it be,
that was just, what.
could it be before?
Yeah, it's, yeah,
Or the current pay cycle? Or the pay
That it
cycle
falls
that's in, that it falls into?
well, that's where the payroll challenge comes from. It either starts before or after the anniversary.
So if, can it have some kind of verbiage that says, if your anniversary falls in that pay period, you get it for the whole pay period?
So that would be before.
Yeah, well, are you 3 days late with a 2% raise, or are you 3 days early with a 2% raise? It's virtually no money, so.
Mhm.
Making an operation, it's probably easier after, but, it's not a big difference either.
this is talking about merit increases, right?
This is, step,
Step
A
increase.
step increases, yeah.
which
So
plan,
basically,
Yeah.
if you exceeded the 20-step period, then no,
new topic.
oh,
This is for everybody that gets a step increase, which is just about everybody. We're talking about what day that raise takes effect.
okay, so
Once
it's
upon a
after the
time, it's called
contract.
your
But
anniversary.
I want to explain this on page 25. The issuance of the step increase shall be subject to funds being available. What's that mean?
That means that they need to be in the budget. The budget process drives pay raises, not anything else, really. The money has to be budgeted, so,
So if there's a shortcoming and somebody's coming up on a step, we can't give you a step increase this year, we gotta wait till next year?
that would be something that would be done globally. It's, every year you get together and decide, okay, are we gonna put step increases in the budget? or not?
And a COLA, like we do.
Right. Yeah, so it's either gonna be, there will be step increases for everyone all year, or there won't be.
It's
And
not
that's,
just one
that's a
person,
decision that
yeah,
comes
it
from
would
the
be
budget.
across.
Yeah, I just hate to be that person that says, oh, we're out of money, sorry.
No, it's not like, oh, it's December, sorry, no
Yeah.
raise for
There goes the
you.
Christmas bonus.
No, it's we will all know that as, once we vote on the budget Tuesday.
Yeah.
Essentially, we'll know.
Yeah.
And we've already approved a bunch of step increases for your folks that will kick in once the budget is passed on Tuesday.
But even on the default budget, it'd probably still be covered.
No,
No?
the selectmen will have to go back to the budget and say, okay, we didn't get our budget, this is the money we have,
Okay.
how are we gonna spend it? And that, I don't think you face that in ever, yeah, so.
Good.
Knock on wood, we don't have to go through that, but.
I just saw that line and I.
Yep.
wanted
Yeah, no, I understand.
confirmation on it.
I agree with a little more of that and think about it. Yeah, it's pennies on the dollar, but it's also the principle of it, right now they're getting their step increases on the anniversary date. Yeah, it is a lot of work, but it's the same amount of work, put it before and after. So for me, I think it would be, step increases will be implemented in the current pay cycle, of the employee's anniversary date. If that's something to consider.
Yeah, I'd go for that. Non-officially here, we're just
Yeah,
talking.
yeah.
Yeah, women here, yeah.
I'm
I
doing the
support
same
that.
thing, I'm doing the same thing with the selectmen and the library
Yeah.
trustees that I'm going with you.
Yeah.
We'll mash it all together.
Yeah.
And then you'll all get one more crack at it.
Sure.
All right, we ready to move on?
Yeah.
Sure.
You good there? Section 6, holidays. We have different holiday calendars for the union and for the library and for everybody else that works under the umbrella of town right now.
And the union can't change.
No intention of changing, actually making everybody else more like the union, so we're all on the same
Awesome.
page.
That makes sense.
Holiday.
So what I have suggested is that
Great, yeah.
we have 11 town employees, not the police union contract, but your admin staff, your non-union staff, and my staff, and
Fire department.
the fire department get 11 holidays
Mhm.
right now, which pretty much it almost matches what the rest of the world does.
Mhm.
But not quite. I am suggesting that we drop Columbus Day as a official paid holiday, as is in the union contract. They don't get Columbus Day as a holiday. Take that day and use it as a floating holiday for a day that's more convenient, like
Like the day after
July
Thanksgiving.
5th, it falls on a Friday.
And now on this one, I think the verbiage contradicts itself, because you call it a floating holiday, but then it's designated by the town, and that isn't really a floating holiday.
Oh, yeah, we can call it something else if you want, it doesn't matter. The point being, we don't change the number of holidays, we're
Yeah.
not trying to,
That seems legit.
take money away from the town, but take another day off.
Most people consider a floating holiday, like you said, the day.
I
after
pick whatever,
Thanksgiving.
I pick whatever day I want.
Yeah, the thinking here is use it for when there's a day that's obviously nobody's gonna get any business done, like the 3rd of July is Monday, everybody takes Tuesday off. Monday's not a holiday on the books. We can use earned time and all that stuff, but, for all of us to be able to say the town's closed this day, like a logical day, we can't, if we don't have a holiday, this affects town hall more than it affects you, but, if we don't have a holiday, then the town clerk's gotta be open, and we gotta be ready to do all the business that we do at town hall. Even though nobody's coming out, because it's Monday, the 3rd of July, and all the employees wanna take the day off, nobody wants to be there, but it's not a holiday, so we gotta be open, we make a promise to be open, we're gonna be open. So, that happens every year, one or two of those days come along every year, I'd rather use one of our paid holidays to cover one of those days and say, we're just closed that day, and work on Columbus Day.
But it would have to be a unanimous decision, right? You say July 3rd, let's say that was a Monday.
Yeah.
You wanna be able to close the town hall, not just have 1/3 of the town employees say, I'm taking this day, and the other 2/3 have to work.
Exactly.
So,
And we need to be able to most importantly, we need to be able to tell the populace.
yeah, you need to
Town's
advertise that
closed.
we're not open, you can't
Right.
register your car today.
Right.
That's important.
Right.
So is something like that maybe, should that be addressed every year in October before you get into the new year and say, okay, let's look at the calendar, this day is gonna present a problem. Memorial Day is always usually on a Monday, right?
Right, it's Christmas and the 4th of July that cause the most trouble.
Yeah,
And.
and the day after Thanksgiving,
The day after Thanksgiving's baked in here as a
Already
holiday.
happened.
oh, it's already in there,
Yep.
so Thursday and Friday.
And so, the thinking was, let's all get on the same page, let's, make it clear what's open and what's not.
Mhm.
And so that was the thinking there. The library isn't open on Mondays, and that screws up all kinds of holiday things. But that's their problem, we don't have to deal with that. And one of the suggestions that came back from your folks was, let's do that at the department level instead of the town-wide for that one day. That's fine with me, doesn't matter.
So the
There may be a
department-
reason-
Department, you would decide, hey, you know what, a majority, we're gonna close Monday, the day before July 4th.
That makes more
And
sense.
so the police department's closed today,
So then,
And you guys would make that decision,
and post it and make it aware.
that makes
and
sense.
everybody would know, okay, I'm gonna get a holiday for this day, I don't need to use earned time for that day.
What do you guys think of that?
I think it's a department head thing, I think it's a floating thing, I don't feel like people aren't coming over here to register their car, they're coming in because it's domestic violence, and they're not saying, okay, I can do this domestic violence thing tomorrow,
Because it's not open.
or I need to have this, it's the day before 4th of July, I guess I don't need to have this filed when you kind of operate a little bit differently than the town hall.
Look,
Mm-hmm.
Right, we can't really close,
Yeah.
the admin people aren't here, then the officers just have to do the admin job for them when they're not here. Somebody needs,
Like a weekend,
Yeah,
it
exactly.
becomes a weekend.
Yeah, like somebody needs to get a restraining order, or someone needs to turn their gun.
Yeah, you get some serious stuff,
Yeah.
they've gotta do all the bookwork and all the
Yeah,
procedural stuff.
They have to do both stuff.
Yeah, they gotta do both.
So, I don't know, I'm okay with probably with, with the discretion of the department head or something.
I think that would be a good idea just because of the mission, because you're right, you can't close on any given day, so. But there might be a day where you guys are doing a function together, and so you shut down and you have limited staffing, so then they get paid holiday pay, but you guys still get paid for it.
That's good, but
or snow day.
furthermore, his point, you're trying to get the town all on the same page,
I
but
get it.
you'd almost have to review it every fall for the next year, cause these are the way the days
Yeah.
fall. If July 4th was on a Wednesday, then what we're talking about for this year would be moot, because it wouldn't have it, so I don't know. I would think you'd have to decide every fall or publish and let people know these are the holidays, and this year, this is what we propose for that floating day. And I don't know,
Yeah, this doesn't take away the, you know, the chief wants to let one person take a holiday one day, and another take a holiday another.
Yeah.
It does, but you put the language in it so that that language is now deleted out of the policy, you'd have to. make
Yeah,
sure
you
put that
do things
language
off
back
the
in
books,
there.
that's okay. We don't need to know about it sometimes, you know, there's little things here and there. That's okay. It's not in violation. You know, it's in the same year. That's okay.
And just put it in as a floating holiday.
No, because we need to be able to, we can't have, the rest of the town staff picking when they take their holidays. We need to be on a unified schedule at the town hall.
Yeah.
Just for clarity of communicating to the public. We already got enough people confused about, well, the town hall's open, how come the town clerk isn't open?
or you just keep Columbus Day and you just forget about the whole floating day, cause it's really not a floating day. Exactly like we would
So we
think.
can call it something else.
You could, yeah, I guess you could get away from floating, but you could just say, these are the days of the year, and that's it, forget it.
Yeah, people wanna know ahead of time.
Yeah.
You know, so.
But when you're taking one day, a Columbus Day, which would be, that's usually always a Monday. So, and I don't know, the banks and different things are closed, or federal agencies. I don't know, maybe I'm in favor of just keeping Columbus Day, and I think the floater is too much trouble.
What are what's the staff over there thinking? They like that idea, or I don't know.
No, they'd rather have both days.
Obviously, yeah.
When do we get that?
No, it always turns into a, like, are we working that day?
Well, how about this, how about if one of these holidays falls on a Tuesday, we could have the Monday off, how many fall, every once in a while, a holiday falls on a Tuesday, like July 4th, the day prior to that, Monday, it would be that floating for that year, something like that.
That's the point, yeah.
That's the idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but something that's for everybody, not just this department's gonna do it, this one's gonna do it, and somebody else is gonna do it this way.
That's where I started and got feedback that people would rather.
Got splintered out.
Yeah,
Well,
so,
I mean, the splintering isn't that deep though, it's not like.
Just a
say-
department.
It's not, just like the police, the fire, and the
Yeah.
town hall, that's really, those
Yeah,
are the three
that's true.
issues, you know?
Except
it
his.
doesn't affect fire at all, because they're labor scheduled.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
what people get, how they get paid and when. But,
What's your opinion? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think we may have made more out of it than.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, one clarification, around earn time, there's, the way things are currently written, the longer you're here, the more paid time off you earn. Your accrual rate goes up. The current policy is a little bit muddied about when the first increase is. Is it after your first year, or is it after your second year of employment? And I'm just cleaning that up to say.
I would always put months. Months are, I've done in many of these manuals, months are so much easier, you don't get confused with it, because you know what, if it's 0 to 48 months, you know it's 0 to 48 months, and the 49th month is when your accrual starts the next month. So
Yeah, either way, but the point being, it's not after you finish, your second year, it's after you finish your first year.
12.
Which is kind of what we practice, but it's not really what's written
Yeah,
throughout the whole
yeah, I
document.
agree.
Yeah.
That one.
And I think that's been the practice for a long time.
Yeah.
So, also on earn time, the policy allows folks to use earn time before it's actually earned. So if you use up your, there's a limit to how much you can carry around. If you use some up and then something comes up and you need to go into the negative with earn time. Department heads have the authority to let folks do that. Longtime employees that we know are gonna come back, you know, we don't really worry about it, it'll all work itself out. I just suggested putting a limit on it so that we don't get into weird situations. You can go 3 days in the negative if need be, but otherwise it becomes unpaid time if you can't work. We just don't wanna leave it open-ended and, you know, have somebody expect to use a whole, 3 weeks worth of vacation when they don't have it.
I just think, in thinking this through, I thought to myself when we first hired Larkin, he already had a pre-vacation, do you know what I mean? And
And you can give him permission to, it's not quite, he can take the time off, it's just not gonna get paid for it. That's the difference.
Why the limit though? I don't see why it would cause an issue having what was the, I guess the.
Because if somebody,
Leaves, of course.
somebody takes, hey, I've been here for 10 years, I need to use my 3 weeks vacation, but I just got back and I got my next thing coming up, or I gotta help go bury my grandmother, whatever it is, I need 3 weeks off. If they take 3 weeks off and never come back, we don't have any way of recovering that.
I thought we made somebody sign something.
Chris, Bowling, had to pay, there was this agreement with the town to pay back.
That can pay it back.
So
Yeah, that's what I've
sometimes,
seen, that's what I've seen, more
Right,
than
the
having
issue-
a limit.
not even an issue, this is the issue, complication I would see if an officer's hurt, or a firefighter's hurt. And they've only been working here for 2 months, and they break their leg. We historically allow them to use earned time to make up the difference in their pay, so they can afford to pay for their house.
Yeah, and if that, there's nothing to say we can't make exceptions to these with a board approval, this is all,
Right.
all of this is, that's available for damn near everything.
Right.
In unique circumstances.
Sure.
I just guess you, at the beginning of this, you said about putting certain things in writing and then going against them. I just, do you wanna limit it like that and then?
Well, if you limit it, then you can put another sentence afterwards, excessive or over the limit will require board approval.
Yeah, sure, we can.
Yeah, add
That
in
way
line.
you don't stop yourself from there.
Right.
It's in writing that it can go further if we approve.
Any exceptions approved at whatever
Must be.
level it may be, or the department head or whatever.
Yeah, after a certain amount of
Right,
days.
we have, you're right,
Cause in
obviously,
situations,
mostly everything is done.
Who would the board
With, with
Commission
information
or
of
the
the
select
town.
board,
corporation,
the
okay.
tri-board?
that does bring up the question, cause that's so earn time is obviously a compensation factor. So what board would that be? To me, what I understand, that would be like, for you guys would be the selectmen, for the police officers would be this board and not the joint board. Cause that's a compensation factor, is what I understand from the RSA. I'm not stating a question to, when I say it. I don't know,
I don't know the answer.
I don't either.
There's another thing in here that we haven't, I think it's actually next on the list, is, also about earn time. There's a minimum amount that you can use, and you have to, if you don't use your earn time, eventually you lose it. You can't build it up forever. That was a big change in the policy manual made to prevent, massive payouts at retirement. That change was made, I think, 2 or 3 years ago.
You have to use so many hours a year, and then you can save like.
And then you can roll
Yeah,
over.
You can only
Right,
bank
yeah.
160 now, where before you could do
360.
360, something like that.
What if you're like,
But they
here,
grandfathered all the people in,
Oh,
so
they're
it's for
the
new
ones who are,
hires.
yeah.
And you had to have a minimum use of 10 days, I think, is what.
Yeah.
45-day maximum accrual, right? 45 days.
Yeah.
Earn time is the max. You hit 45, it stays at 45. Till you
Uh,
start using it, then it can replenish.
Correct. One thing that I put, this is a new thing that I'm suggesting we put in here, is to give you or the selectmen or the library trustees, whichever body applies, if you need to waive that because, say, you've got somebody covering a vacancy and they couldn't go on vacation because they had to work.
Which we have had.
Which I'm sure has happened.
And that's exactly.
You need to be able to, need a release valve on that limitation of earn time, so that.
To disengage that limitation for this particular
For
reason,
this year, and
That
we'll
year.
let you roll.
on an
over.
individual basis.
Yeah, we've done that before.
Okay, so we could still do that as a board?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, if the verbiage is in there, the board can override pretty much
In
whatever
that,
is here.
in that section specifically.
And that, yeah, there's some things we can't, we fall under
Right,
the
right.
umbrella of the town ordinances and policies.
Yeah, and I'm dreamt up a scenario, but you can certainly envision a scenario where you need an exception to the policy for somebody for some reason. You recommend it or ask the selectmen to bless it, and then we're fine. So the two of you, we can.
Yep.
And whoever, it's money that usually gets the selectmen.
Yeah, if it's money, you're definitely gonna get involved with them, it's budgetary.
That's always available to us, regardless of what the
Mhm.
costs, right? Okay, what else? I've taken out a lot of the details and a lot of the process on insurance business. Insurance is the insurance benefits are, in reality driven by the budget process, but they're money, they're money issues more than personnel issues. And things change over time, like we just changed, insurance, plans, which came with a change in the sharing of percentage for the premiums, and we don't wanna have a whole lot of stuff in here in this document that locks us into a certain collection of benefits, because those things change. It happens all the time, and we don't wanna go through the process of having a three board meeting every time some little thing changes, so we really stripped out a lot of that.
In the process, I will say, because the share is directly related to compensation though. That's the one issue. Yes, it's money, but it's also compensation in which the individual boards are responsible for. Yes, no?
But then you go into even more, that if you can change this whenever you want, then I guess we need a union contract too, because that's what I thought, kind of this policy guides you guys, if you have free reign, why have a policy? Do you know what I mean, that you can just come in with a across the board, cause what happens when you violate this policy? Nothing? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not enforceable.
Yeah, so here it is that you went in and changed it with the insurance, and that's, I feel like this policy, you went in and changed insurance, and nobody asked any of the boards until the decision was made, so I guess I just question what that leads to.
I mean, if you change insurance,
And I understand saving
people are
time.
paying so much a month to have their insurance, now all of a sudden you change it, and if they have to pay, say, $50 a month more now to have their insurance, and they get less benefits from the insurance, that kind of violates their rights, because they had this, and now all of a sudden, the town wanted to save whatever, and they just decided to go ahead and change it, and everybody's paying more money and less benefits.
Unfortunately, an employer can do that. It's
Yeah,
crappy.
I go through it every year, renew
It
it with
sucks a
me.
lot, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, employers can do it midstream whenever they want. It sucks, so.
thought
I
it was in the
I
contract.
disagree too,
Yeah.
but they can know. Yeah.
But then, so why even have?
It's all going on Obamacare.
Why even have the policy? Do you know what I mean? Like, just say, hey, we give you insurance, what you would get for insurance, you get it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, this policy is not trying to detail what insurance we get. That's not. It's more about who gets insurance and when it kicks in,
Who picks the plan?
the selectmen.
me, every year I get insurance for my staff. It's more money for less, really, that's what it's been lately. More money for less. Instead of $20 at a doctor visit, now it's 30. Instead of 15 for prescription, it's 25. They nickel and dime you to death, but there's nothing you can do as an employer yourself.
And it goes up on average of 7 to 11% every year.
Yeah.
Average, and your good year is 9%, which we had last year, 9.9.
See, the other thing too is that they got rid of the merit increase, at least the select board told us they get rid of the merit increase because they were going to give us life insurance at X value, and I noticed that was one of the ones that you guys wanna just generally put out there, that will generally give you life insurance, but it's, I feel like the promises were made, so clearly that ship has sailed. So, never mind, move on.
Let's see, section 10.5, this is minor, but, current policy requires that if you get in an accident, like you're driving a town vehicle, you have 24 hours to report that accident. I'm suggesting that should be immediate.
Immediate, you never want the verbiage immediate in there, and there's a reason for it. I dealt with this because we have a reasonable suspicion, if we have to get somebody drug tested, if they have an accident with a car. And if for some reason that facility isn't open immediately and I could have went somewhere else, legally, we might be at fault as the town if we didn't do it the right process and we put immediate. So if you have a time frame and you beat that, you're good.
How about in a timely manner?
No, it has to be something.
So,
Immediate,
Like an actual
I would stay away from immediate, but that's just my.
Well, you have, this is when the employee reports it to a supervisor. Not when the town takes any action about it, is that?
No, actually, it's the reporting too, because it could be 2 o'clock in the morning. So,
Well, if one of your guys crashes a
But
cruiser at 2 in the morning, you wanna know about it.
but, of course,
We
but,
already have a policy that covers.
Yeah, we have.
yeah,
Policy that covers,
Like,
who they're supposed to talk to, a supervisor and all that.
and the follow-up, for blood tests and all that.
if the employment law already signed off on it, on that wording, then I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, the point being, you don't want somebody to come back 3 hours later.
I agree, 24 hours is too much.
Or when they're sober.
Yeah.
So then.
Oh, when that's over,
Yeah, and then we've had.
that's a good point, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Can I take the drug test in a couple hours?
You heard that one before?
Here's the cup, you know what to do.
All right, on the last thing that's really, it's kind of a change, I think we started talking about this at the joint board. There is an elaborate procedure laid out in the current policy about exit interviews.
Yeah,
And-
why are we getting rid of that? Because I thought it was actually really good.
Well, it's not getting rid of it, it's just slimming it down. What the policy, and I think I know where it comes from, but, what the policy says is that, an employee and the town administrator, somebody was leaving, and the town administrator and a board or commission member from a board that is not their supervisory board, but a third-party board member, like you as police commissioners might be involved in a library employee's exit interview, and vice versa.
I've been on 2 exit interviews in my tenure. It's
Yeah.
always, there's 3 of us board, so if a selectman were leaving or somebody from the town, it would be two people from opposite boards. Something like that. So
Yeah.
if somebody left from the police department, it would be the town, and it would be the library that would meet with that employee that's leaving.
Yeah, that's,
Exit interview.
yeah, so that's how it's laid out in here, that's not been what's practiced lately.
No, I haven't been asked to go to one, and
I did one a year ago. It was one of the somebody left, tax collector, one of those positions a while back. That was the last one.
That was more than a year and a half ago,
Yeah.
anyway, and I know that you guys are the first people that have said, oh yeah, I remember doing that. Nobody else has recalled.
yeah, I did, I was at one.
So, nobody was committed to doing it that way, so I took it out, but if you wanna do it that way, we certainly can leave some.
It's a different employment market out there than it was back in 2011. But 2010 or 12 that we did, but it's always good to know why your employees left and blah, blah, blah. I
And
mean,
you got the head, the administrator, and the members of the appointing authority, that's really all you need, that's what you have in there.
But that's just preference, that's not anything, there's no science to that. I think that comes from, some of that might come from the bad old days when people were playing gotcha with, people were leaving and, other people wanted to play gotcha with their hiring people. I don't know, it wasn't here, but I.
well, we're starting fresh with you, so that's always the best way.
I'm perfectly fine with them in principle, but nobody had seemed committed to that old method, so.
Are you guys in favor of going back to that, having next interviews?
I mean, as long as they're still done and the department head is there, so that's the most important thing, I think.
Yeah, I'm indifferent on that.
It's all night, really.
Okay, so in terms of things that are like changes in policy, I think that's the high level stuff.
Can I ask you something else?
Uh-huh.
You made a change like to longevity where you had to put the word budgeting. How come those words have never ever been in here? Why? You see that? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know where you are, but generally speaking, all of these things are driven, they're gonna be governed by the budget process. If they're in the budget, they'll make their way to employees. If they aren't in the budget, they aren't gonna. That's just the life we live in.
So you're putting those words in there to protect the employees, to get their longevity checks. So just the budget is to clarify it, or is it you're putting the budget in there so that you have the thing now to, not to vote for it, I guess is what I'm saying, more directly. Because there's never ever been language for longevity in any of the policies about budgeting. It was a benefit. And it was a laid out benefit as to how people are paid, so you kind of, there's no guesswork as to the increase of the money.
Well, none of our non-union employees are guaranteed a COLA or a step or anything else until the budget.
Right.
Makes those things possible. And I'm just trying to clarify that those things are dependent on the budget. This is not a contract, this is not a promise of anything, it's, this is how we do things.
So the longevity check wasn't something that people were given every year, it was just because we were lucky enough to guys budgeted for it, is that what you're saying?
I don't know what the history of the longevity is. I've seen it done twice and it was just kind of routine business because it was in the budget and that's what we do.
Again, it goes back to if budgeted.
Yeah, there are very real scenarios where you must have had years where you didn't have a COLA, right?
2,
Yeah.
3 years ago?
Yeah.
3, 4 years ago?
Because the budget's tight and the
No, it wasn't because of the budget was tight.
Wasn't it the budget was tight?
I've always voted for COLA every year, as long as I've been on that tri-board.
It was a political decision, the decision making.
Yes. It was a
Decided for whatever reason, I assume
Yeah.
it was because of the budget, maybe there's other reasons they didn't want to do it, but whatever. The budget committee presents a budget to the town to vote on. The money's gotta be in the budget to do these things,
Mm-hmm.
all that's trying to do is reinforce that everything we do is contingent upon the money being in the budget. This is not a union contract. A union contract lays it
No,
out,
but
and you get it, then it doesn't matter.
It's a bottom line budget, is the town, okay, so. The longevity pay is usually paid at the end of the year,
Yeah,
at the end of the fiscal, at the end of December.
It's an early
All right,
December.
so at that time, you would have a great idea of how your budget was looking.
Well, it ought to be approved from the year before, so it gets
They
approved
put it
in
in the
March.
budget, it's in the budget this year.
Yeah, so
Right.
They budgeted $11,000,
in March,
which
you're getting
gives
it in
everybody in the town their
So
longevity.
what would be the case? You're getting to the end of December and you're saying there's no more money left in the payroll account?
No, it's already be approved.
Or they didn't put it in the
You would
budget
have
first.
them
They would have to
say,
not have put it in the budget.
Two things can happen, the selectmen make a decision before the longevity pay is issued, we check in with them and say, hey, we put this in the budget, can we issue these checks?
So you're gonna have to know ahead of time, you're gonna have to say, hey, how many people are gonna be out of this, out of all the employees? Who's get this, who's gonna get this, that, and you have to have it up ahead of time.
And we make that in the budget, it's in there
And
already.
make it into the budget.
But there is a step, just like every other expense in
Yeah.
town, where the selectmen have to
Yeah.
approve.
But you just have to have it so that you can present it at the time the budget is formulated, to say, we got longevity pay, we got merit, we got all these different things that have to be funded. So, as opposed to just say, it falls on the general payroll.
Correct. And I think the longevity has its own budget line item,
Oh, it has, okay,
town-wide.
I got you.
So the voters see there
That,
it is.
that'd be the best way, because there it is, there's your budget right there.
No, it's just,
You're not happy with that 100%?
no, I understand where it comes from, I just, it's,
The wording.
yeah.
It gives it the openness to, like, they can make the decision.
That they
Say the
don't-
budget, we're short on one line item, is it a locked-in line item when the budget gets approved? Exactly, so it's not, so what you're saying could happen, like,
We're short on
there's,
salt. we
there's
need to
a
take
short
that
on
out.
salt, we're gonna take longevity pay and move it over. Yeah, that's,
Take
yeah,
$11,000.
Yeah.
The employees that have worked here for 20 years.
There's a lot of long-term employees in the town, though, when you think of it.
There's a reason for that. It's a nice place to work.
Yeah,